Welcome again, everyone, to a little short one, but a little more on the bench. The season is upon us. And, oh crap, I thought I started this one. So I'm going to lean back and let you guys look at the FMS, Fcx10. So when I did the competition with this against the stock, oh, I missed one. Against the stock TRX, what I noticed was these tires that come with it, the Super Marshers, they were decent, but just not decent enough. So I watched my standard TRX4 with the tires that I now have in my hand. So these were completely uncut tires. And that TRX4 just did way better. So what I decided to do was I had these extra ones with the Chevy style rim. They're not all chrome, but they're gray. I decided to cut the center lugs out because in general, if you've got these tires, let me zoom it in. So if it's going to, or is it just going to zoom on my hand and everything in the background? Yeah. So you cut those center lugs out, which are right here, and the finger just totally did it. So we look at this one that has that lug in it. Let me see if I can point at it with something that's not my finger. Oh, it's so basically this one right here, you cut it out. Now, you can really go extreme with those again said tires. I got a set sitting here. So not only do you cut the lug out, but you cut every other lug, which is actually a shorter lug. You cut those out to make these super soft. You know, because you can. I've watched the videos. You can boil them and get them off of these wheels. But why? Like I tell you all the time, I'm cheap. Which is my constant motif. Why? It blows my mind. So you buy an assortment of shock oils. You experiment like what I'm going to do with these tires. These Super Marshers, I'm going to go with the same philosophy. So what I did with these was I siped them. So every big lug, even the little ones, I cut. Well, thinking siping might do something, it didn't. So I'm going to get more extreme with it. But now, on your side while you're watching the video, look at the Canyon Trails versus the Super Marshers. The Canyon Trails, in my opinion, they seem to be a little bit beefier, but they're also shorter. Well, that doesn't look very good. Let me see. They're a little bit shorter. They're a little bit wider. But yeah, they're not super short. Oh, and they're not as overall diameter. They're smaller, which, looking at that truck the way it's sitting right now, I think the Canyon trails look a bit more scale. The Supermarshers look a bit big. The Canyon trails look about right. So today, just looking for the cheap fixes. I happen to have an extra set of tires. But with these tires, figuring out the lugs, I mean, this one is so obvious. When you look at the whole center on the Traxxas one, I mean, there's just not a lot of extra grabbing room. That center section, which I don't know why Traxxas hasn't changed that up. I mean, that is just a center section with nothing to grab on. But when you cut that out, that initially makes this whole surface area in the center, that is just an area to grab now. So that's my philosophy. So instead of buying a new set of tires, we're going to try that. I've got one last tire to cut, and then we're going to take it out. But once again, zooming in for you guys, I even think, because I'm being a nerd, and I'm talking to you about doing it, but I'm looking at it, the gray with the chrome center cap just looks nice. I think it looks nicer. Now, all this sweet chrome that FMS put on there, I'm beating this truck up. And it is not going, that chrome is not going to survive very long. So, to this point, I have really done nothing to this truck. I did my detailing, painted the top white like it's supposed to be. Not my best work, but it should come down a little more. But I'm pleased for now, because as much action as I'm giving this truck, it's going to get tore up some more. So I'm going to allow that for now. But, I'm racing the clock. My trees are shedding. Now, crawling on the course, I have to just keep blowing it off before I go crawling. I'm trying to get some lights up for the winter. If you guys, I'm going to tell you, these little snippers, you can get them at a local O'Reilly's in the electronics section. I believe that would be aisle 4. They're just like a set of Tamiya ones, that they cost half the price. And basically, if you want to do this at home, I don't know if I've got another one that needs it. Let me see. Well, we'll do this one. So I give it a squeeze. Oh, this sucks. So you give it a squeeze, you go right to the base, snip, and it'll pop it up. And then you go over to the other side, which is, you just go right along the pre-existing guy. This is probably sucking for the camera, because I'm trying to do it so I can view it, or you can view it. And it's just hard because it's not helping you out. So I'll back up a little bit and see if you can see it that way better. But, do this, throw some tires that I happen to have laying around, which, once again, I don't have extras laying around because I replaced tires. These came as part of a deal when I built my snow/mud TRX4, a year before the High Country came out, or High Trail, or whatever it's called. And this was a set of tires that came with it. Well, I was building a big lifted up truck. These aren't even 2.2s, they're just regular old 1.9s. So I broke them out for this competition, TRX4 versus the Fcx10, and I experimented. So we experimented, learned that this truck is actually heavier than the TRX4, especially now that it's got the interior in it. And Jimmy, lobster hands, thanks to SC Redneck RC Productions for naming my guy. He is Jimmy. And, you know, I'll tell you. Uh-oh. Carb clean down. You know, it makes a world of difference. Even, well, you can't see him very well with that stupid overhead work light that works great. You know, let me see, can I block it so you can see Jimmy? There's Jimmy. Jimmy looks really good in there, and it really gives this truck more depth, having a driver in it. Even though, you know, hey, FCX or FMS, I love you to death. I love how super detailed some of your stuff is, and what a cartoon came out of this one, because Jimmy has got full-size proportions at some places and miniaturized proportions in other places. So, I mean, it works. It has enough depth for those of us who aren't, you know, the truck body alone is beautiful. So, yeah, we can skimp a little bit on the interior, but meanwhile, it's a full interior and it looks good in there. I mean, I like looking at it. I like seeing Jimmy out there. Adds a depth of danger when there's a person sitting in there. I mean, that may be just me, but you know, that's why I don't do a lot of major table work. Doing a video? What would I just do? Because literally this is, missed that one. This is my zen. You know, generally when I'm working on the bench, I'm watching or listening to videos. And that's my happy time. But I've watched a bunch of videos today. So I'm running rough shot since after having her babies, we haven't gotten Audrey fixed yet. And she just went in the heat for the first time since, what was that, April? She was in heat in January. Then somehow she fell for those blue eyes. And she's just, at 4 years old, is just such a wild dog still. And she really gets after it, playing and running, and she jumps over everything. You can't contain her with baby gates. We're really worried about her hurting herself or ripping stitches out. So I got to keep going out and checking to make sure there's no romance going on. But Audrey, come in here where I can watch you safely. Get in here. Come over here. So this is just a mad dash to try to get this truck prepped so I can get some more running in. I'm gonna do another long-term review pretty soon, probably on the Fcx10 III, because I'm going to tell you, I am thinking that you can still get the Fcx10 III builder's kit. And for those of you that are planning maybe a winter build, it might be a pretty good option. But on my Let It Fly, I'm going to talk about the two new builder's kits from Vanquish. And I'm going to tell you right now, even in its heyday, Axial only made one builder's kit. Element made a builder's kit, and then they stopped. I don't know why they stopped it. They got a new one coming out, but I'm getting ahead of myself. We're going to talk about that later. But this is my thing. For any of you who've watched the channel very long, I look at the prices of things right now. And stuff that over the years that I've shown on my channel, which some people like, right, this, oh, that's hillbilly. Why would I use those crappy tires? Well, because I've got them. I bought them. I'm going to see if I can make them cheaper, or I'm going to make something cheaper. I'm not going to buy them. If you've got ones that have, I still don't understand why Traxxas doesn't do it. Thank you, Axial. Axial makes the best wheel that you can take it off. You can swap tires if you want, but it has a nice molded in edge that goes around the bottom or the middle of it, which, like, I use my sinker weight for all you fishermen. That is cheap weight. And, this truck, it should be more top heavy than it is. It seems. I mean, I have rolled it a lot, but I've generally been testing it for climbing ability and side hill ability. But where the top heaviness normally is a hindrance, at least when this one rolls over, it always seems to get back up on its wheels. So I don't have to go hand to God in it or run over there and flip it over. It is generally ready to go. I just, the best thing about using my white paint on the roof is the fact that I can touch it up. And so far, it's got a lot of touch-ups. But I haven't managed to scuff up the main top part yet, which if I scuff that up, it's going to be orange. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. The rear portion is white already. But unfortunately for you guys, when I'm concentrating, I tend to get into ramble mode. But, boom, those guys are done. So, next time you see this, it should be running these canyon trails, and we're going to see if it makes this truck. Well, hopefully it'll probably be running the last few times on the course. Well, no, I can't say that. Even if it does snow, where's my piece of paper? Even if it does snow, it's not going to stick right away. So we'll be able to get some runs in. I just have to go out there and I use my leaf blower to kind of dry it off a little bit. But hopefully once it gets to fall, it won't be raining. And that's been my hindrance right now. It's raining. If I drive to the course, then the tires are all muddy. That's where the Fcx10 is. I drove back from the course, so it is filthy. Look at that. Hyrax are great on the rocks, horrible in the mud. So that's where we stand. This, for those of you watching, if you've never done this, Easy Boy, I don't know how he does. I think he cheats and he's got like a stamp. because he writes Easy Boy on his. And I have a hard enough time just following the lines. But, you know, this is another thing. People will say what a waste of time that is. Why are you doing that? It's going to just rub off. Well, theoretically, so will a paint job. So why would you paint the whole body? Well, that's if you've got a hard body. Or if, like some of us did when the flat paints came out, paint it on the outside. You take any of these RC paints. What do I got? Spaz Stick. I got Duratrax. I've got Traxxas. You use these on the outside, and a lot of times they're flat. And they actually have... Where is my Spastic? Spastic actually made a flat spray. But boom. These guys are all ready to go on now. I got all of them done. I saved you with only doing one of them, considering I had all 4 done. So let me know what kind of cheap mods you like to do. That's my big thing. What do you do instead of buying just, straight up new stuff or going to Amazon and getting some cheap stuff? What do you do for your cheap RC upgrade? Because, boom, I just cut some tires. That's a cheap upgrade. And then next we're going to test to see how good it does. Like and subscribe. Tell me I'm an ass. Tell me I talk too much. I don't care. We'll have a good conversation, and I will talk to you later.